Hello and welcome to the show. I am Joe Tophat. Sequels are often hard to make because you have to give the audience what they expect, but at the same time, give them something new. But what's even harder to make is a prequel. As much as we complain about sequels, prequels receive even more hate. There are some sequels, like The Bride of Frankenstein, that are viewed as being better than the original. But you never hear anyone say that about a prequel. I think the main problem with prequels is that they take place before the events of the previous story. We already know how things turned out, so why bother making it? The advantage a prequel has is that they allow us to know more about our favorite characters and their world. Star Wars being a great example of this. Recently, Stranger Things tried their hand at a prequel in the form of a 4-part comic. Is it as good as the first season, or is it as bad as the Lost Sister episode? Let's find out. The comic centers around the character Francine, also known as Six. It starts off in the year 1970, where she and her mom are driving home, where out of nowhere she orders her to stop. Her mom begins to scold her for these sudden outbursts, then a tree falls right in front of the car. The comic then jumps to the year 1978, where Dr. Brenner tests Six's ability to see into the future. He tells Six that during the test, the best she was able to do is a 17% accuracy, which, in his own words, is statistically insignificant from the guesses of an ordinary person. Despite her low accuracy, Brenner is convinced Six isn't ordinary. If 17% is the best she could do, I'd say she's pretty ordinary. Much like the first season, the comic relies on flashback to fill us in on Six's life before the lab. We learn that her dad is an abusive alcoholic who uses her powers to pick winning lotto numbers. Her mother isn't a bad woman, but she does nothing to stop her husband from abusing their daughter. She even makes excuses for him. In other words, she's an enabler. Six's parents use their winnings to buy a house. It is here where Six meets Ricky. The two become very close. Six even started to have dinner over at his house rather than at her own. On what was supposed to be their prom night, Six has a heated argument with her dad. She foresees him about to hit her, so she runs off to meet Ricky. They go to a diner where Six explains her ability to him. Later, Ricky introduces Dr. Brenner to Six at his home. This, of course, leads her to become a test subject at the lab. It turns out that Ricky is also a test subject, and he goes by the number 3. Six is angry with him throughout most of the storyline because I have no idea. The comic never makes her reasons clear. If I had to guess, I'd say it might be because she feels like he tricked her into joining, but even that seems like a stretch. Free's only crime is that he recommended Six to join a program that he's a part of. He stated that they helped him control his power, which is basically the Jedi mind trick, and he honestly believes they could help her. Admittedly, he should have been upfront about all this, but I still fail to see how he did anything wrong. Throughout the comic, Six has visions of the events of Season 1. For instance, she sees the Upside Down and the Demogorgon. She even has visions of Agos. For those of you wondering, we do get to see a younger version of 11. First, when 6 was going off to bed, she sees her with 8 and twin girls 9 and Control. I have no idea why they didn't just call her 10. Then later, when she was in the hallway talking to Brenner, she finds it strange that 11 calls him Papa. Brenner explains that it was because they got her at a young age. He neglects to tell her that he kidnapped her right after she was born. Anyway, 9 has her ability to create heat tested. To make a long story short, it doesn't go well. She accidentally kills one of the assistants and is sent to the hospital wing. It is because of this event that 3 decides to help 6 and Control get out of the lab. Seriously, why didn't they just call her 10? To wrap things up, 6 bites her tongue to make it look like she's coughing up blood. She is sent to the hospital wing next to 9, where she has Control pull the plug on her sister. 6, 3, and Control run out of the lab, where 11's mom serves as a distraction. Once outside, the 3 of them are confronted by guards. 6 has a vision of 3 getting shot, and she pushes him aside and takes the bullet instead. The comic ends with 6 proud of herself for changing the future, while 3 and Control run to safety. This Stranger Things prequel was boring. The characters are bland, and the story doesn't add anything to the Stranger Things universe. If anything, it leads to a lot of questions. Why is 11 so socially underdeveloped when the other numbers were allowed to interact with each other? Why were they allowed to wear their hair long when 11 was forced to have a buzz cut? Why weren't any of them wearing hospital gowns? And more importantly, why was 9's twin sister called Control instead of 10? If they were basing the whole thing by numbers, shouldn't she be called a number? This prequel and the Lost Sister episode just proves that 11 is the only number who's interesting. Thanks for watching. Let me know in the comments section what you guys think, and don't forget to like and subscribe. See you later.